Today is March 21st, 2024. My name is Bobby Goodman, and I'm interviewing David Stanley about his recent trip to on the Dallas Jewish Community Israel Mission. Thank you for your time and being with us here today, David.
Thank you, Bob.
David, I know that you have been to Israel many times, and I think possibly even lived there. Yeah. But if you will, share with us, when was the first time you went to Israel, and when was the last time prior to this mission?
Okay, so the first time I went to Israel was in 1972. It was 6 days after I graduated high school. And I went there. I got an assignment to be a volunteer on a kibbutz from the Jewish agency. And interestingly enough, the first place that I was placed was kibbutz Zikim, which is down in the south, which was part of our mission. We went down to Zikim. So that was the first time I'd been back down to Zikim in probably 50 years or so, but I actually met some people from Zikim, and one lady, I'm not sure if she really did, but she told me that she remembered me from back then when I was on the kibbutz and in the chicken coops. But so that was the first time I went. Before this, I've gone on a regular basis and maintained my friendships throughout the years. The last time I went, because of COVID and the like, was probably 5 years ago. I went to a wedding there.
Wow. So you've got a real history with Israel. It's unbelievable. I see you're wearing your T-shirt. I'm sorry you're having to wear it, but it looks like you're wearing it proud, and yeah. It's a shame that you're having to wear it. But so, what made you participate on this particular mission?
Well, it was a combination of things. I was going anyway. I was going to attend a wedding there for some good friends of mine, and this was on the front end of my trip over there. And so I decided that I would put this on do this because it was so meaningful to me. I would do this on the front, and then I would, visit all my friends and celebrate with them on the back end.
So how long did you stay afterwards?
It was 2.5 weeks afterwards, yeah.
Right. So David, if you will, tell us what were the most meaningful things you experienced on this mission?
The most meaningful things were really the personal stories. When we would meet with people and they would tell us of, both the people that were victims of October 7th and also families of soldiers that we met with, and the stories they told, the stories of heroism that that the families told about their, loved ones, their sons, was very, very meaningful. And also when we went and met with the injured soldier in the hospital and heard his story, those are the most meaningful things to me.
I can imagine. And horrific stories, I imagine. So how do you think you and the group were received by the Israelis themselves? How were the citizens of Israel, how did they feel about y'all coming and visiting?
Yeah, it was, amazing the response that we got. They were all very, very grateful that we came. I almost took it like, I'm glad that you're grateful that we're here, but there's really no other place where we should be.
Right.
We're Jews, and it's, we're part of this whole deal. It's not you, the Israelis, and us over here. It's all of us as Jews that we come together and show solidarity.
Right, right. So what would you want people to know about what you experienced. What would you want to, you have a chance to tell us your experience, and what would you want them to know about it?
Well, on the front side, I would want them to know that it's everything that happened on October 7th was even more horrific than we can even imagine. Mm-hmm. And on the back side of it, the unity and the strength and the resilience of the people that are there, and how they understand that, you know, they have to move on with their lives and not give in any way, either from a military point of view or from a psychological point of view. They cannot give in to the barbarous Hamas. They just, you know, we have to defeat them on the battlefield, and we have to defeat them within our people, with who we are.
Right. I got to imagine that having gone to Israel as many times as you have, it's always an emotional trip when you go in normal times, right, if there is such a thing as normal times. But I guess the emotions were. Tell us a bit about the emotions with not only yourself and the other fellow missionaries on this particular trip.
Yeah, well, I'm by nature an emotional person anyway, and so yeah, it was very, very emotional. Not just us being with people and being empathetic and sympathetic to them, but also the emotions that were within our group. That there were obvious, there were just times when we were all just crying like babies.
Yeah.
So it was very emotional.
Right.
But and for me, the great thing, which they didn't get to experience, was that after that I got to experience a lot of joy from what I went through. I lived there for a couple of years, and I've been friends with the families that I stayed with on a different kibbutz, on kibbutz near Liao. I've known them for 51 years, and now I am very friendly with them and their children and their grandchildren, and so it was just it was great. And then being able to go to the wedding, which was supposed to happen on November 4th, and got postponed until March, and so being able to celebrate with people and sing and dance and all of that sort of thing was just very meaningful too.
Yeah. It's good to hear that there's some celebration still going on there. I mean, you have to celebrate, right? That's part of it. What would you like to see happen? Based on your experience, what would you like to see? Like for us to be able to see, what should come out of this?
Well, from our mission, I think that what needs to come out of it, and I want to come out of it, is for us as the participants in the mission to spread the story, and for us to be able to tell people what's really going on up there versus what's heard in the media and from politicians and all that sort of thing. They need to hear it from people who have been there and talk, been boots on the ground and really experience this thing firsthand. And the other thing is, the other thing I would like to do is to be able to take other people back to Israel, and so that they can also experience what, you know, the 48 of us did.
Right. I imagine the bonds of these 48, like every mission seems you create bonds. This must have been really something, and I hope that y'all continue your meeting about it in the whole bit. So,
Oh yeah.
anything you'd like to add about the mission and
Yeah, you know,
and in general?
I told you, you know, I've been, I lived on a kibbutz near the Green Line, near a town called Kfar Saba. The kibbutz is, the name of it is nearly out. And so I have a lot of friends to this day. One of one of my friends, his name is Golan. And the reason that his name is Golan is that his parents lost a son in 1973, and he was killed in the Golan Heights. Mm-hmm. And so they decided, you know, after their son was killed, that they were going to have another son, and they did, and they named their son Golan because their son was killed in the Golan Heights. So, you know, Golan's, you know, now living on this kibbutz, and I'm friends with him. And he, his son, is in the idea. This next part's hard for me to say.
Take your time.
And he was the first one killed. He was the first soldier killed. On October 7th. So tragic. But you know, Golan and, you know, this was 5-6 months ago, and Golan and a number of the other members of the kibbutz now go down to the front once a week. They bring food, and they, you know, they do barbecues for the soldiers. So this guy, who sustained this unthinkable loss, is now giving back. That's it.
Yeah. So sad, so tragic. David, thank you for sharing your experience on this mission. We really appreciate it, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.